Stems. The stem is the main supportive part of a plant that grows above ground. Stems bear leaves, organs of photosynthesis, which grow at nodes. Buds, shoots covered by protective scales, which grow at the stem tip, apical or terminal buds. And in the angle between leaf and the stem, axillary or lateral buds, and flowers, reproductive structures. The stem forms part of the plant's transport system. Xylem tissue in the stems transports water and minerals from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant, and phloem tissue transports nutrients manufactured in the leaves to other parts of the plant. Stem tissues are also used for storing water and food. Herbaceous non-woody stems have an outer protective epidermis covering a cortex that consists mainly of parenchyma packing tissue but also has some collenchyma supporting tissue. The vascular tissue of such stems is arranged in bundles, each of which consists of xylem, phloem, and sclerenchyma strengthening tissue. Woody stems have an outer protective layer of tough bark which is perforated with lenticels pores to allow gas exchange. Inside the bark is a ring of secondary phloem which surrounds an inner core of secondary xylem. Micrograph of longitudinal section through apex of stem. Coleus species. Apical meristem, region of actively dividing cells, developing bud, pith, epidermis, outer layer of cells, vascular tissue, cortex, layer between epidermis and vascular tissue, leaf, primordium, developing leaf, procambial stand, cells that produce vascular tissue. Young woody stem, live, Tilia species. Lenticel or phloem fiber supporting tissue, phloem sieve tube through which nutrients are transported, ray parenchyma cells, xylem fiber supporting tissue, xylem vessel through which water and minerals are transported, cortex layer between phloem and vascular tissue, secondary phloem, pith, phloem protective cork layer, vascular cambium, actively dividing cells that produce xylem and phloem, secondary xylem, autumn wood, spring wood, companion cell, cell associated with the phloem sieve tube. Emergent buds, London plane, Platanus x acerifolia. Woody stem, lenticel, pore, node, leaf scale, outer bud scale, inner bud scale, internode, lateral bud, terminal bud, young leaves emerging. Micrographs of cross sections through various stems. Chervil, Anthryscus species, vascular bundle, xylem, phloem, pith, collenchyma supporting tissue, epidermis, outer layer of cells, vascular cambium, actively dividing cells that produce xylem and phloem, pith cavity, cortex, layer between epidermis and vascular tissue. Dead nettle, Lamium species, cortex, layer between epidermis and vascular tissue, epidermis, outer layer of cells, collenchyma, supporting tissue, secondary phloem, secondary xylem, primary xylem, pith, pith cavity. Mouse tail, Hippuris vulgaris, cortex, layer between epidermis and vascular tissue, pith, lacuna, airspace, vascular tissue, phloem, xylem, epidermis, outer layer of cells, endodermis, inner layer of cortex. Rose, Rosa species, cortex, layer between epidermis and vascular tissue, pith, prickle, outgrowth of epidermis, sclerenchyma, strengthening tissue, secondary phloem, secondary xylem, primary xylem, epidermis, outer layer of cells with thick cuticle, waterproof covering. Rush, Juncus species, Epidermis, outer layer of cells with thick cuticle waterproof covering. Pith with stellate parenchyma, star-shaped packing tissue. Sclerenchyma, strengthening tissue. Mesophyll, layer of photosynthetic tissue. Vascular bundle, xylem, phloem. Sclerenchyma, strengthening tissue. Coconut palm, Cocos nucifera. Mesophyll, layer of photosynthetic tissue. Epidermis, outer layer of cells. Parenchyma, packing tissue with bundles of sclerenchyma, strengthening tissue. Vascular bundle, xylem, phloem and sclerenchyma fibers. Cortex, layer between epidermis and vascular tissue.